All right, y'all, welcome back in. Collector's Market Watch, episode 80 on the channel, and Lorcana's newest set, Attack of the Vine, continues to dazzle as we work our way through pre-release week and cross over into the worldwide retail release day, which at time of this video drop was about 24 hours ago. Going to talk about all things Attack of the Vine on the price side, both on the sealed and individual card side. Also make an application and comparison to another great Lorcana set and talk about just why I'm super excited and bullish on this set going forward from a collector side of things. Going to get into all of it momentarily, y'all, but before we do, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our great content. Join the Discord if you want to as well. Links down in the description. We have so many people showing off their fire pulls, just pulling absolute fire from this set. Pulls like crazy. We want to celebrate you in there. And also, if you need sleeves or you need binders like the new Attack of the Vine binder, make sure to use code Digital Ink for 10% off at Vault X. I believe the pre-release or pre-orders are on sale right now. Go save yourself some money. And with all that out of the way, let's get into it. So we're going to get into Attack of the Vine, the booster box, just at least set the stage a little bit here on the sealed side. And of course, we do see that retail FOMO setting in, kind of getting like a little double FOMO, drop here. Obviously, you have the pre-order side where you think about like going in like whatever, last like 2 or 3 weeks ago as the set was about to release in local game stores, things of that nature, right? You see people, needing to do what they do. And we've talked about this multiple times on the channel, talking about how like, I don't have an LGS near me. I can't go do that, right? And that's totally fair, right? So you got to do what you got to do to get your hands on the product. However, of course, as it gets to the LGS, that price is going to drop more in circulation. Same exact thing on the retail side. I mean, obviously, you're not going to have booster boxes and things like that on the retail side, like the Targets, Best Buys, Walmarts, but you are going to get the troves. You're going to get the individual, the blisters, things of that nature. And obviously, when you do get that influx where distributors are able to go out onto the retail side, you're going to see this FOMO set in here as well. But y'all, I mean, Attack of the Vine doing absolutely great right now. I think about lowest verified coming in at 193. Then also we go and see at the more data here. We're in a stout spot, man, at 194, 193, 194 spot. As we continue to scroll down, this is where you start to kind of get into the 200s and stuff like that. However, starting to get, as we continue to scroll down here, a ton of booster boxes being sold. Nice solid delta, like not too wide when we think about like between like 190 and like low 200s. I mean, we have great market price being set in here. We also see over the past like 3 days, the 22nd through the 24th, 252 booster boxes sold. Fantastic quantity there. When we think about, like, compare that to like things on the Wilds Unknown side, obviously we talked about how like week after week after week you have these high watermarks coming in, but at the same time, man, there was also that other influx of collectors, game players alike coming in, that boom in the hobby. We're sort of setting into this new normal in Lorcana right now, but the new normal is incredibly healthy, and I am loving what I'm seeing. On the sealed side, from an expected value side, we think about like around 160 to 170. It will continue to go down from a retail release side of things. Again, more cards, more quantity, less demand is just the way it's going to go. However, on the trove side, we do see as we go in, we see an absolute just massive fall. But at the same time, this also is expected. I think when we were on last Tuesday together, we showed the troves, maybe it was last Tuesday together, so showed the troves around $100, and it's just one of those things where especially because the troves are able to be available at those retail stores, like the Targets, like the Best Buys, the Walmarts, etc. That is going to give you that super heavy influx on the sealed side, where again, the booster boxes, you might not quite see that drop, because again, you can only get them at your local game stores in certain spots like that, at the parks, or what have you. The troves are retail though, so you are going to get this like absolute, like clear as day, like teeter-totter effect where we see the heavy drop here, but you see all of this quantity being bought up. 83 troves bought up on the 24th alone, which is absolutely crazy. That's awesome to see on that side of things. And then also going in and looking at it from an individual card side of things, just on the enchanted side. I just want to start on the enchanted side here because I do want to kind of compare and contrast it to something. I was just thinking about this the other day and I was like, you know what, that gets me excited. So I figured I'd bring it to the table when we talk about it today. So first and foremost, calling out, of course, and to nobody's surprise except for me, who was trying to be cute maybe a couple of weeks ago, thinking that the Woody and Buzz would compete. Of course, absolutely not. Winnie the Pooh and Piglet, Honey Mages, way out in the distance, way up the road. When we think about looking at lowest verified coming in at 665, market price 665, you're not going to see too many like head and tail wins. Like TCG players going to be pretty on it right now, at least to start. We're not in any type of like crazy bull bear market right now. We have really settled into this new normal coming off of like the late June time frame where card prices going crazy, where TCG player couldn't stay ahead of the tailwinds, and now things have come back, on that side of things, and TCG players trying to catch up with the headwinds. But at the same time, no, I think we're in a very healthy spot here. with the retail release coming out, I do think there is a little bit more room to have a little bit more dampening down with the card prices. And that's across the board, man. That's going to be on the Enchanteds. We're going to talk about the Iconics a little bit later. Epics, I think the Pooh Mage Epic is going for like $15-$20 right now. I expect all of that to dampen just a little bit. There is going to be more that are going to be hitting the market. But super interesting here that I want to just make like a quick call out and a quick thought that just sort of got me excited about it. And again, to each their own in terms of like, where you think like, I want to get my hands on Wilds Unknown. I want to get my hands on Winter Spell, Whispers, whatever it might be. I think the thing that has me the most excited about Attack of the Vine, and I think why it's, I don't want to say this is why it's holding up well in the market, but I just think it's something to be excited about, is the idea that when we think about when we think about Attack of the Vine and we compare it with another super popular Lorcana set, I see a lot of similarities from a perspective of obviously like, obviously the price side of things, maybe not so much. However, I do want to quickly compare and contrast it to Fabled. Now, before we even get started on this, believe me, I am not saying Attack of the Vine is ever going to get into anything like the Fabled realm. I realize Fabled is so far up the road on it. It's at this point a pure collectible. You should not be opening a Fabled. You should be buying singles on Fabled. And even that, it's very hard to get your hands on it. But I almost see Attack of the Vine, like I'm starting to see it become like a light version of it. Sort of one of these things where it's like, so many people will hit me up and say like, Ink, what are you buying right now? I just got into the hobby. What should I be looking at? Honestly, a lot of times I'm like, and I stand by this, where it's like, collect what you like, go for a specific set, go for specific IPs, characters, things like that. Honestly, at this point, if you're getting in and you're new, I'd be like, dude, buy Attack the Vine. There's a lot of sort of like similar threads that I'm seeing that we can pull on. And when I think about like, so first and foremost, we go in and look at the Iconics and we look at the Enchanteds from Attack the Vine, from Fabled. We go in, the first thing I see is like, this was first where we kind of started to see these like multi-character Enchanteds, right? Like we have, we got Ariel and Flounder in there. We got Goofy and Max in there. We have the entire Simba family cast there in Circle of Life and things like that. And those cards really did beautiful things in the market. And I realized all Fabled cards did beautiful in the market, but you see, these are all sort of pace-setting cards, right? And of course, you have like what's left, right? We see, I just showed you 3 cards out of the top 7 that are absolute pace setters. I do realize the top 2 are Iconics, but also when I look in here, I kind of see like, okay, we have Mickey in here chilling, and then also we have Pooh in here chilling, and then we of course have the Mickey and the Minnie. Now, while we don't have sort of that individual Mickey and that individual Minnie, when we go back and we look at Attack of the Vine, man, what you do have that we didn't get with Wilds Unknown is you do have, like, look, it's been a set where obviously we wanted to introduce Pixar and things like that, and that's all well and good, but now we come back, we get ourselves a proper Mickey and Minnie, right? We're able to get our hands on something like that, and yes, when we think about the compare and contrast with like the number 1 pace setting Enchanted Rare, we also see that, yes, it is Winnie the Pooh. That IP just absolutely is killing it in Lorcana. It absolutely cooks in this hobby. And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, am I sitting here saying like when we do like a side-by-side compare and contrast of like Pooh Honey Wizard and Winnie the Pooh and Piglet Honey Mages, am I saying that like these two are going to end up being the same thing? No. Am I saying that like one day, Pooh Piglet Mages is going to get where Winnie the Pooh Honey Wizard is? Of course not. No. But what is exciting about it is it's like, there's so many people who like, on one hand, they have this Winnie the Pooh Honey Wizard and they're saying to themselves like, this is great. I have it. All I want to see is, this card, go up in value. And maybe you're also sitting in the middle. You're like, I don't really care. I just love the art. And I'm just happy and blessed that I have this card. But there are so many people out there that look at the Pooh Honey Wizard and honestly, I'm one of them. Like, I don't have this card and I look at the Pooh Honey Wizard and I'm kind of just like, oh man, this card might be out of reach. You know what I mean? Like it might be like you have like so many people who are coming in and wanting to be able to collect what they like and, be able to achieve certain goals in the hobby from that side of things. I mean, you're talking about a card that's essentially an iconic rare. I mean, I understand the pull rate side, it's not, but on the price side, it is. I mean, this card, if you were to stack it up next to every single iconic rare, you have the Mickey and the Minnie that outpace it. At time of this recording, especially because of the dip that we have seen on the Wilds Unknown side, the Buzz, the Merida, low key, like looking at the Pooh coming in at $2,300. I think like lowest list right here, which I actually think is like somewhat fair in this market. Man, that could very well be sitting at number 3. I'm trying to think like you got like Ariel Hades and then you go like Moana, Pocahontas, you go Buzz and Merida, and you know, right? I mean, even the iconics from the set of Attack of the Vine that we're going to talk about momentarily, this would be jockeying with those. Really hard to get your hands on that card. And so you say to yourself, how can I participate in something like that? Honestly, y'all, like this card is kind of that. It's an opportunity where we're living in a very calm market, like things have really baked out. There's not too much FOMO going on. The ones that have come in are excited to be here. And there'll be more coming in, hopefully. But when we look at this card, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, it's Attack of the Vine, where it's a set where you like, we know that we have the card that is sort of the pace setting enchanted rare. I doubt there's going to be any jockeying, as opposed to like you think about Wilds Unknown. We have like, we have the, at one point, we have the You Got a Friend in Me, that's number one. We have the Alien, that's number one. Those two are sort of jockeying. Not sure how that's going to bake out, and maybe it never does. Maybe they both just kind of, at first it was a race to 1,000. They both kind of got there. They both come down. Jessie had her moment, all of that stuff, right? But it is nice with new sets, especially like Modern and the Contemporary set, when you have that card that you just kind of know, this is the card. Like, there's no doubt. Like, this is the card. It absolutely is. I really believe that maybe Woody and Buzz would jockey with it. But especially looking at what we've seen with Pooh Honey Wizard, when we talk about like the Disney World, Disneyland, and the Disney parks, like going in and waiting for like, waiting in line for like Curator's Collection and also the playmats, those playmats sold out so quick, like so unbelievably quick. It is just like, it is at this point very set in stone that like the Winnie the Pooh, and how could it not be with how big the IP is, but the Winnie the Pooh fans, they are alive and they are well in this hobby, and that is going to drive the price of course, like an absolutely gorgeous art. Like, look, I mean, there's some people who might think this artwork is even better than Honey Wizard, which is tough, though. I mean, I realize that's tough, and that's just to each their own type thing. But no, you got an absolutely beautiful card here that I think we are going to see just unbelievable things going forward in the hobby for this card. And this is an opportunity where, like, yes, I understand, like, $670, that is tough. I understand that. But a far cry from this, right? Far cry from Winnie the Pooh Honey Wizard. And you have an opportunity, right? If you want to say like, I'd love to be able to get my slice of Winnie the Pooh, get an amazing Winnie the Pooh art and Piglet artwork. Like, this is an amazing way, and it's an opportunity for you to do that. So kind of a light version when we think about Attack of the Vine and we think about Fabled. And again, when we talked about like the Ariel Flounder, the Circle of Life cast, then you also have like Max and Goofy, all of those cards like really elevating on the side of things. Like, unless it's Mickey, Minnie, and Winnie the Pooh, those cards are the pace setting cards within Fabled. And look at all these beautiful arts that you have, all of these like tag team arts. I mean, again, you got one, two, three, four, five, the top 6 cards until we get to Mike Wazowski, all are sort of those tag team type cards. And of course we continue to roll down. The other thing I'm super excited about on the Attack of the Vine side, especially as we keep it on the screen with the Enchanted Rares, I feel like right now, I see for sure we have these 4, and then we have for sure this next row right here. And I would even go as far as to say that it would be the Pocahontas and the Miko as well. Basically, half of the Enchanted Rares, if you pull that card, you're probably breaking even, which is awesome on the expected value side. The Pocahontas and the Miko were not quite there because you're sitting here with like a 170, like mid 170 spot. But you also got to think to yourself, like, if you pull that card, you're probably going to get like, you've got Merida in there, you've got the Woods and Buddy best, the Woody and Buzz best buddies, legendary. There's epics that are great, like you could pull the Pooh epic, things like that are gonna kind of kick you up, to that box price. So no, I mean, we're living in a spot right now where like 9, maybe even 10 of those enchanted pulls get you your money back, and with a booster box you get that great memory, and also at the same time, I mean, on that side of things, it's kind of like, I don't know about y'all. I don't know what you're hearing. Let me know in the comments. But like, I feel like the pull rates have been just absolutely on another level with this set. It could just be the early days. Like, I'm not sure. It almost feels like, I mean, I'm hearing people, and I don't know if I'm misinterpreting it in the Discord, but I've heard multiple people say in the Discord that they pulled multiple enchanteds out of a box. Now that might not be. It truly might be like we opened 2 troves, pulled 2 enchanteds, opened 2 boxes, pulled 2 enchanteds. But nevertheless, like, I'm hearing all over the place in cases, there are multiple enchanteds flying all over the place, which is so exciting for the booster box opening experience, the pack opening experience. It is just a wonderful thing. And at the same time, like, if that is the case, to see card prices like this, again, I realize we're only 24 hours in to the, to the official like retail launch, and there's going to take time, and I definitely think there's still room for us to come down a little bit. Like, if you wanted to maybe wait just that in that like last inning of things, like if you're like, oh, let's see if I can get the best of the number, you might have a little bit more time to sort of, wait it out on that side of things. But even if these go down just a little bit more, these are really healthy card prices and a very healthy box price, and it's healthy right now. It's good, you know what I mean? Like that's very exciting to see on that side of things. Now, going in, I do want to talk when we do think about Winnie the Pooh and Piglet Honey Mages. I will say we are still definitely bopping around a little bit. Like we are certainly in a price discovery phase still right now with that card, which is also why I'm excited about this card, because I will say, as we see this like little dip right here, we will say that we have lowest verified coming in at 665, 670. Like you can get some decent, like you can get some pretty decent, you get like a decent number here if you're okay with not seeing pictures of the card. I mean, we do see that we have a lot more sales coming in. We have certainly found this home here. I mean, we even see like we're even getting into the 500s right here, which is crazy, but like that's great. Like that's great, truly. Like it's exciting when we think about like that's very healthy, that healthy FOMO. If you want it early, that's fine, but you're going to pay up. As you continue to wait a little bit, you might get the best of the number, as opposed to like Wilds Unknown days. I mean, it was complete opposite, right? Like I don't care if it's like the buzz that you could get, in the teens at the beginning, and that thing kicked up all the way to like $5,000, maybe even more raw. And then same thing. You Got a Friend in Me, Alien, you were able to get your hands on those in the beginning for like 200-ish, 300-ish. They worked their way all the way up to, in that big boom, like close to, even over $1,000. This is more of a normal market, right? The FOMO comes in, gets bought up, more hit the market. We start to lower that number a little bit. But that being said, on the eBay side of things, we're all over the place right now. We're absolutely all over the place right now. I mean, again, like 900, and see like 1150 here. I'm going to try to find the ones that are actually like auctions and bids, because it's possible that I'm rolling through some numbers here like or best offer, which means like I could click in and it possibly, like, for example, might not be 800, but still, like, you're able to get a range here of like, we have already started again at like 900, 1150, 800, 1,000, 900, 700, 850, 700. Like we're at 600. We're all over the place. I just gave us a range of 600 to 1150. So we're still all over the place with this card. I truly would say, like, if you're really if you're really trying to pick your spot on this card, I'd give it a second. I really would. I do feel like just a little bit more time, a few more hitting the market. And I think that that's fair for like cards like Woody Buzz, Mickey Minnie, across the board. I think that that's very fair to just wait a little bit longer on that. And that is the same thing for the Iconics. Honestly, like we're another few days in here, and not much change in terms of price trajectory for the two cards, as well as which card is leading the pack. And right now, that is the Belle and the Beast, certain as the sun. I think these cards are going to be absolutely phenomenal in the future. I will say, like, again, if we are to believe that the healthy FOMO and we're in that clean market, I would say the same thing here, right? If you want to wait around a little bit longer, maybe try to see if you because of course we talk about numbers like coming in, 2,200, 2,300, stuff like that. That's one of those things where it's like a week from now, things could look very different. We could be settling into maybe the teens, something like that, as we really start to work out and bake out this market. But right now we're living in the high 20s, like 26, 2,900, 25, 26. We're going to start going lower, and you're going to start seeing more FOMO here, like 3,000, stuff like that. Like that's very normal on that side of things. The Lilo and Stitch doing extremely well as well, but at the same time, just a little bit under the Belle and the Beast, as we talked about in the last episode. There's been no change from that. Doesn't mean things can change. For the longest time, you had the Buzz outpacing the Merida. The Merida started to jockey with the Buzz. Buzz starts to get ahead of Merida again. It can happen. It happens all over the place. And the number one call out I would make for that, as we kind of round out the episode, and where I could absolutely see, something like this happening, especially on the Belle Beast Lilo Stitch side. I think those two Iconics are so close to each other. Like, we could be talking 3 months from now, it could be one thing. 6 months from now, it could be another thing. Like, they could keep bouncing back and forth. Two phenomenal arts, phenomenal IPs. Like, there's just a lot to like with both. Like, I don't see one as like is sort of sticking its nose out in front any more than the other. And there's a great contrast with that when we think about Whispers in the Well, when we think about like the Ariel and the Hades. You look at Ariel right now, and for what it's worth, I think like we could absolutely see a world in the not too distant future where we do see the iconic Belle and Beast, Lilo and Stitch, come down into a space like this. Like, you can see like 1,200, 1,300, stuff like that. Remember, Whispers in the Well, super baked out set, but at the same time, Whispers like sitting again at that like high 100 spot. very similar to Attack of the Vine. And so in that case, you could see something like Belle Beast, Lilo Stitch sort of start to work their way into the teens, which quite frankly, Lilo and Stitch already is. There's plenty of sales, both on the eBay side of things, etc., where we think about like Lilo and Stitch going for like $1,800, $1,900. That's already happening today. We just hit the retail release. So it is fair to think that we are going to keep working our way down and try to find some sort of a healthy bottom in the teens. And that could be something very similar to what we see here with Ariel. What is crazy, and I think this kind of came out of nowhere for me on this side of things, but like I was just getting ready to prep this episode and I saw this. I was like, we'll close it out with this. We'll show this. I go into the Hades looking for a deal, man, and like Hades is starting to like come back, like and jockey with Ariel. I will say it's a little bit more on the Hades is sort of holding serve. Ariel's starting to come down a little bit. If you're someone out there and you haven't gotten your hands on Ariel yet and you've been waiting, might not be a bad opportunity here. On the Hades side of things, we look here, we see like $1,300. I'm going to try to skip the slabs. We see $1,800 right here, like crazy. I mean, absolutely crazy stuff. Come down here, 13. So realistically, Hades kind of finding a home in that like low teen spot, stuff like that. But also, we just showed a couple of different Ariels that were doing that as well. Jockeying back and forth. Hades at first, then Ariel, now back to Hades, could be very similar when we think about the iconics of the Belle and the Beast, Lilo and Stitch. Time will tell. Will be super interesting to see. But y'all, that's going to do it for this episode of Collector's Market Watch. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see y'all on the other side.